to go with that momentum that was going to come, that we could take advantage of it.
Once Super League started to turn the cogs, the scramble for signatures was on. It was almost like an arms race. And I can imagine the big names that you guys wanted to target. And if we use Alfie as an example, in terms of numbers, like what would he have been getting as opposed to what Super League could offer? Alfie
won't mind me mentioning this, I don't think. His numbers would have been around 120, 25,000 from the club at the time. He got 600,000 in Super League, and he got good money as a loyalty payment up front.
That's life-changing money.
It's life-changing. Yep. It was just crazy. We did the contract with Rupert to say, is he going to do this? We had to do a presentation. I was a bit nervous to doing that. I've never done that to, especially Rupert Murdoch. What am I doing here? Our budget at the time was 68 million to bring a competition together. Back then, that was a lot of money. Football teams were turning over probably 4 or 5 million. So he said, I just got to just hold you up here at, I think the 68 you're wrong with, it's going to hit 100. And I go, there goes my job. I go, I missed the budget by $32 million. But he then said, I think this is going to be really exciting, and I look forward to doing this with you. And we got up and shook hands, and he said, I wish you all the best. 3 months, or I think it was probably 3 or 4 months later, we'd spent close to 500 million. So it was serious stuff.
And yet really the rhetoric was around treachery and greed and loyalties being tested and friendships and clubs all at war with one another. Did you feel like the bad guys?
Well, we were perceived to be the bad guys, and I accept that. And, there was some tough times during that. So, that was, I think that was to be expected in a way. It was never going to be an easy thing to do.
But like even the infamous Footy Show episode, right, that people click on, and there's Ray Hadley, and he won on points decision because the crowd goes crazy, and it was all sort of the biggest names in the game, and they all had you in the crosshairs. Yeah. Did you know what you were walking into that night?
The vision is about taking the game to the rest of the world. It's about giving the patrons and the fans a better deal than what they've had in the past.
What a load of crap. It's all about paid television, John. It's all about lining people's pockets with money. And for you to sit here and say anything different is just an absolute farce.
It was a panel show. I was there with Chris Johns. We were going to speak, Ken Arthurson and John Quayle. There's 4 of us, just a panel and someone to do the interview. When we got there, we're sitting in the room, getting a bit of makeup and stuff, and you could hear this roar. I go, what's going on here? I said, what's happening out there? Are you cutting a show somewhere? He said, no, that's the show tonight.
That's the Footy Show.
Said, the Footy Show? I'm not on the Footy Show. This is a panel style of the Footy Show. And I had to make a decision. Do we go or do we stay? And I said to Chris at the time, I said, look, I think we're going to do this. We're going to get bashed up out there. And I think my last lines were waiting for him. So it was like that.
It had a Colosseum feel.
Whoo.
Yeah.
And away we went.
It must have been, I mean, you were portrayed as one of the most hated men in Australian sport, and you were ruining the game that we all know and love. How tough was it for you and your family to cope with around that time?
That was really tough. At the time, my family home was we had security inside the house and outside the house with young children. So that was
security guards in your house?
Inside the house.
Because of threats?
Yeah, threats. So, that wasn't pleasant. That's something you'd never want to take your family through.
How'd you hold your nerve through all that?
Just believing in what we were doing was right. I'd say this to the people that say, why would you do that to a game? Give me an example of a major game that hasn't had disruption. They all do, and you'll have a moment in time where you just got to you've got to rejig things and reset. And I think that was a major reset. But where we are today and where we potentially can head, I think it was probably a skirmish that had to be had, and I think history will prove that.